Hey, what's up guys, it's Iggy. So I just wanted to make a quick little video today about how to set your rifle up so that you can quickly go between suppressed and unsuppressed without having to really think about your zero or try and remember anything or having to write stuff down on your gun, anything like that. So this is the way that I would have my rifles set up typically for like a patrol setup. So I don't have a suppressor and the bipod is off. So as you can see here, it's just 14.5 pinned to 16. Got my Cloud Rain 1.0 on here. Athlon 2 to 12, and then I've got the Holosun 507 on top. So I'm pretty well set up to be able to have really short range engagements with the red dot, and then my 2 to 12 would be anything from 20 yards out to 800. So I carried in this configuration, my patrol configuration. The reason being is because this rifle, the way that this is now, is extremely well balanced. As you can see, if I were to take it and just hold it right here underneath the turrets, I mean the rifle is pretty much perfectly level, right? So this is a very handy, well-balanced gun. I mean, it's not nose heavy, it's not back heavy. It's like perfectly center. The center of gravity is like actually in the center of the rifle. So, why would I keep it in this configuration most of the time? Well, when I'm at the range, I don't actually keep it in this configuration just because I enjoy shooting suppressed personally. I mean, who wouldn't? But, if you're in some kind of, red dawn scenario or whatever, I would patrol in this configuration. Why? Well, again, because this rifle is extremely handy in this configuration. It is not nose heavy, it's not rear heavy. And because of that, it's very easy to naturally come up and point. It doesn't have, a lot of the other issues that come up whenever you start adding weight to the front of the gun. Now, let's say, again, in this imaginary scenario that you are setting up for an ambush, or you're let's say you're hunting and you stalked in without all your crap on the gun, but now you've got 5-10 minutes or whatever until whatever you're going to shoot is going to come out in front of you. So what do? You take your suppressor real quick, spin that on, snap, take your bipod, grab this real quick. Oops. Sorry. Oh, that's why. It's because it's already all the way clamped down. There we go. So if you don't have it already all the way clamped down like I did for some reason, you can just grab it real quick, hold it like that, do a few quick spins, and you have a quickly attached bipod, right? So now we're set up like this. Extremely easy gun to shoot in this configuration. Got an H3 buffer in here, and with this 30 cal suppressor, it's almost 10 inches long, and because of the bore diameter and the ammo I'm shooting and the buffer, this gun has the recoil of like a 22 Magnum, I'd say. I mean, it's a little bit more than a 22 for sure, but it definitely does not feel like a 223. So that is one reason I also prefer to shoot suppressed. But let's say, I don't want to shoot suppressed that day because whatever reason, I'm just doing my patrol, right? Well, since I am zeroed for my gun being suppressed, let's say, I'm going out on my patrol, so I'm gonna start out unsuppressed. Got my suppressor off and all that. I'll just take this off too, just because it's a little unwieldy with it on. And again, it's really easy to take off. You just screw this little screw out, and then bam, it's off. Right? Super easy. So now, because I'm in this configuration, and my scope is zeroed to have this 20-ounce weight hanging off the end of the barrel, my point of impact is going to change. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Luckily for me, my point of impact is almost exactly 2 mils straight down with the suppressor on compared to the unsuppressed. So what I did is I went ahead and zeroed my rifle with the suppressor on at 100 yards. And then I took my suppressor off and I set my zero with my turret so that it's actually on zero. And then I went and re-zeroed again with the with my rifle unsuppressed. And again, that's what I said, about 2 mils. So, you know, I pull back about 2 mils. Now my turret says 8 instead of 0. What I did after that is went ahead and put in my zero stop device. And then this one, you know, you just, I think you just spin a little brass thing around and then it locks it down. So however your scope has a zero stop on it, this is the way I would do it. So you have your unsuppressed setting. You go first of all, you zero with your gun suppressed, because almost 100% of the time you're going to have a point of impact shift down with a suppressor, just because you're hanging a weight off the end of your barrel, which will cause your barrel to just very ever so slightly point down. So have to account for that. My gun, 2 mils. So if I want to switch to from suppressed to unsuppressed, you know, if I'm at my suppressed setting, which would be 0, I've got my zero stop set up so that the second I take off my suppressor, all I have to do is pull up on my turret, spin it till it stops, slap it down. Now I am perfectly zeroed for unsuppressed. I don't have to remember any holds. I don't have to do anything. And also, I've got my drop information for my reticle right here written, and I've got a piece of tape over the top. Probably gonna fix this to maybe do some other kind of you know, laminated piece of plastic or something that's got it all printed on there, but this is just what I came up with for right now. Just some an oil-based Sharpie with some clear tape. Works fine. But again, so if I'm wanting to shoot suppressed, all I've got to do, you know, I'm set up right now for unsuppressed. If I wanted to set up for or shoot suppressed, lift up my turret, spin it to 0, down. Now I'm zeroed for suppressed again. This is a super easy way to have a gun that's just set up for whatever kind of mission that you want to come up with, basically. Again, you know, this is pretty short, lightweight. I mean, you know, lightweight is pretty relative, but this gun weighs just under 10 pounds in this configuration. This configuration with the bipod and suppressor on it weighs right about 12 pounds. So, does get a little heavier, but again, if you're setting up, you know, for an ambush or whatever, you've got a bipod, weight doesn't really matter all that much. But you know, if you are patrolling, I would definitely keep your bipod at a minimum in the in like a pouch or something. So anyway, that's the video. Just to recap, if you want to set up your rifle for suppressed and unsuppressed at the same time, go ahead and zero your rifle with the suppressor on, because that will have most likely the lowest point of impact in relation to your center line of your bore, just because you got the extra weight, right? Then whenever you go and shoot unsuppressed, make sure your reticle is on 0, and then count back however many mils it is, or MOA, or whatever scope you have. Pull it back to where it's now zeroed for unsuppressed, and now it's not going to say 0 because the actual 0 mark is for your suppressor. But your unsuppressed will just be your hard stop, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to be like, oh, it's hard stop, and then forward 2 clicks or whatever. You don't have to think about it at all. You're on 0. 0 means you're good for suppressed. You want to shoot unsuppressed, lift up, bam. Go to your hard stop, slap it down, now you're ready for unsuppressed. Super easy, super simple. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think. I think it's a really good idea to do that. And yeah, we'll come up with more videos here in a little bit. Again, I do have a loophole shooting video that's coming up. And as soon as I get some time to get out to the range and get the whole setup set up, then we'll make that video. So anyway, thanks guys. Hope you have a good one, and leave some comments down below. Thanks.